The Palm Beach Civic Association expands its communication outreach with a state-of-the-art television studio. We call it Studio 33480, the zip code for the beautiful island of Palm Beach. Sponsored by Finley Galleries, our goal is to bring you in-depth interviews with the most colorful and knowledgeable personalities on the island. And now, our host.
Welcome to Studio 33480. I'm Mark Zeidman, Chair of the Tax and Finance Committee. And with me today is Kirk Blouin, Town Manager for Palm Beach, to help us understand the town's budget. Thanks for coming, Kirk.
Thank you for having me, Mark.
You recently went through the budget process for the town for the new fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023. So, for homesteaded properties, property taxes per million went down by about $113. For non-homesteaded properties, they went up a little bit. I think it was $66.
But I think probably even more important to that is, particularly when it comes to finances, what are the trends? For the past 5 years, we have had no increases in property taxes for homesteaded property owners or decreases. And we've also had 5 years straight of surpluses returned and unused funds to the town.
On an overall basis, property taxes in total increased, didn't they? Went from like 59 mil, the revenue.
I think we're referring to two different ways.
Yes.
You are correct. So the revenue increased. The taxes went down, but the revenues generated by the town went up by 5.8 million.
Yep.
An additional property tax revenue or ad valorem tax revenue that we collected.
Right.
But again, let me add a little context to that.
Please.
So we all know that the town of Palm Beach has been experiencing some really strong appreciation of their property values over the past several years. Particularly last year was a banner year for appreciation. The Palm Beach County Property Appraiser's Office valued the increase at 18%. We had a decrease in the millage rate, increase in the revenue.
But on an individual basis.
A healthy surplus.
Yep.
But we also did have an increase in our operating expenses.
Okay, let's talk about that. Operating expenses increased, I forget the exact number, something by like 11% year over year, give or take. The biggest contributor to the increase in operating expenses, not surprisingly, is comp and benefits.
Sure.
Can you tell us about that?
Our biggest asset and our biggest expense is our staff members. Roughly, I think you might have stated it, about 73% or so of our total budget. Yep. Of that budget, we were severely impacted by inflation, particularly this past year. Council was very generous to the town employees. But we also had to mitigate the long-term liabilities to those expenses. So what we presented and what was adopted by the council.
With respect to the pension plan.
With the 8.9% COLA increase, the council awarded 6.9% of that increase to be awarded in a lump sum and 2% to be awarded to a salary. So there was a one-time expense in that lump sum. The employees were still able to receive that money in that year to cover the increase in their cost of living, their day-to-day living expenses.
Yeah.
But also protect the town from the long-term liabilities, which would be the increases to the pension, which would be quite substantial if we gave a 9%.
So, I mean, that sounds like a creative solution to me to mitigate the impact of the large COLA increase. On the pension plan, did the budget process consider adding an additional contribution to the pension plan this year, in addition to the $5.4 million that it has added in each of the last 5 years, I think it is? And what decision was made in that regard?
In 2017, and since the retirement board, in conjunction with the mayor and council, made a smart decision to not only add this extraordinary above the ADAC of the $5.4 million, but they also reduced the assumption rate.
Assumption rate in terms of future
what the assumed
investment
return
returns.
is on the investments.
So they're reducing it to a lower estimated yield going
Correct.
forward.
So it was 8%. I'll speed up till today. It's now 6.4%. When we lower the assumption rate, it actually lowers the funding ratio. So the fact that we've been moving forward with the funding ratio is a very good sign. Like I said, the projections in the future will be fully funded. The council will decide in the future whether they want to continue the extraordinary contribution. The future should be bright for a retirement fund.
What can you tell me about the status of the undergrounding project and the undergrounding budget?
So currently it is $122 million is our budget.
I see. Okay.
We had a shortfall of about $13 million from the original opinion of cost. We really have 3 more phases left to fund and award, and that's 7 north and south, and then phase 8, and we'll be finished. We'll be finished with this project by 2026. I think we should become pretty close, or maybe even less than the newly generated opinion cost.
Is anything else that you'd care to mention?
But it's not really an impact per se to our general fund. And as we're moving through the water treatment options for the town, there's obviously some major expenses in mind, particularly if the town doesn't want to be a customer and they want to be an operator. But if the town chooses to be an operator in some fashion, that would be run as another enterprise fund. We'd have to do a rate study, and that would be billed to the customer based upon usage. If we continue under some franchise agreement, whether it be with the city of West Palm Beach or the city of Lake Worth, those terms will all be spelled out in the contract, and basically we would remain as a customer. If we build our own desalination plant, again, there'll be costs, and we'd have to bond them. That may impact our rating by Moody's or Standards & Poor, but most of those costs will be passed on to the customer.
Well, thanks, Kirk. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming in to share your insights into the budget process.
Absolutely.
It's such a complicated area as I can tell from just listening to you. And I look forward to following developments over the course of the next several months.
Yes,
so
sir.
thanks again. Thanks for tuning in. Hope that you've learned something about our budget process in our town today. And we'll see you again on Studio 33480 very soon. Thank you.
Studio 33480 is brought to you by the Palm Beach Civic Association, our sponsor, Finley Galleries, and our viewers. We welcome your thoughts on how our programming can best serve our members and residents.